Hey, what's up, YouTube? As promised, I am back. It's been a couple of days. I've played this thing for probably a good 5, 6 hours now. So I figured I would jump in and just give you guys my opinion on this thing. What is this thing? It is a Fender Standard Stratocaster, which is made in Mexico. It's not the American made. The American made ones for a few years now. They do very, very clearly identify as American Standard, American Elite, American Deluxe, American whatever you want, to make it super clear which ones are American. So if you see something that is just Standard, Standard is now made in Mexico again. I think it's been a couple of years that they've been doing this, probably 2013, 2014. I have no idea. I don't really care. Um, I've said this in a couple of videos. I'm usually not a huge fan of anything made in Mexico. I've had nothing but trouble with the Kurt Cobain Jaguar that I got that's made in Mexico. So why did I decide to buy this? Again, just a quick recap. Love Strats. It's just that kind of sound that you just can't get with any other guitar, really. The playability is always great. I just don't ask me why. I always end up buying one of these. I always end up selling it again, and then I regret it, and I end up buying another one. So me and my friend were discussing and both kind of wanting Strats, and we both kind of talked about getting just a Squire, and then changing the parts we didn't like to put American parts on it. Tried the Classic Vibe, which is basically their highest quality Squire that they make. Was not fond of it. The fret job was horrible. It just didn't feel right to me. So tried the model above, which would be the Fender full Fender Standard. It is a full Fender. Fender. And there you go. Just love this thing, and the store just happened to have. I like my Strats either completely everything white with a maple board, or everything black with always a maple board. They had this, and they had the one with 3 single coils. Usually the Strat sound you're going to get is from the neck pickup and the middle pickup anyway. The bridge is kind of debatable. So I just went with the humbucker. A little bit more versatile. My choice. You can go with what you want. They're basically the same guitar if you're getting the Standard. It's just they drop a humbucker or they drop a single coil. It comes out to the same. It's going to be the same neck, same everything on it. It's just that one pickup is changed. So, first of all, price. Like I said in my last video, if you didn't watch that, I got this for $760. I guess it was a bit of a deal for 2 reasons. It's a 2016. You can tell by the serial number. Actually, I won't show you guys the serial number for obvious reasons. If you don't know how to get the year, if it's a Mexican, the serial number will always start with MX. And then the next 2 digits is going to be the year of manufacture, depending on how old the thing is. But anything recent. So if it's MX14, it was made in 2014. This one starts with MX16, so it was definitely a 2016 model. If you're ever not sure if it's made in US, Mexico, you just want to be sure, look at the back. Like I said, the serial number will start with MX if it's Mexican, and it'll always say right under it, made in Mexico anyway. So that will be your 2 big clues that it's a Mexican. So like I said, I'm not a huge fan usually of the Mexican made. I had nothing but trouble with let me just move the mic, it's in the way here. Nothing but trouble with the Jaguar that I bought, which was made in Mexico. And the mic is still in the way. The neck just didn't settle for like a good 2 years after I bought it. The fret job was not great. The only reason I kept it is because it's the Kurt Cobain signature Jaguar. They don't make it anymore. I've had a bunch of offers on it. I'm not going to sell the thing. It's on my wall. I'm happy keeping it as a collector's Kurt Cobain tribute kind of thing. Like I said, tried the Squires, was not impressed. Picked this thing up, it immediately felt way more quality. I tried this one. I did also pick up the single coil model. It felt the same. The fret job was just way better. Again, like I said in the last video, it's not like PRS quality fret jobs, but as far as standard fret jobs and for the price of this thing, totally happy with the fret job. The neck is also perfectly straight. Like I said, it's only been like 2-3 days I've had it. It hasn't moved, and the thing has stayed in tune. So couldn't be happier so far. And we have actually had like crazy temperature changes here in the past few days. It was like around 0 Celsius, and now the past 2 days it's just dropped, and it's like minus 20 something today. So and it's still, I just tuned it before I did the video, and it was almost perfectly still tuned. I think I just had to drop the 2 top strings, but whatever. But yeah, sorry, kind of rambling here, but back to the price. So like I said, I got this on a bit of a deal. I paid 760 Canadian because it's a 2016. I guess they're trying to make room for the 2017s. And also because like I said in the past video, I've been going to that store for so long, and they're just great with their customers, and they always treat me right, so no complaints. Why did I go with the Mexican? Again, because, and if you absolutely want a full American one, I suggest you go out as soon as possible and try to find a new 2016 American Standard, because it's discontinued for 2017. An American Standard will run you about 1,004 something currently, Canadian dollars again. From what I was told, because they did start getting the 2017 models in, the equivalent that they're replacing the Standard with is now the American Professional. And the quote I got over the phone was it's $2,000. So they jacked up the price by $600, and I don't even know if there's anything really different on it. So back to this guitar. So this is what we're here for today. So again, just go over the specs really quick. I'm just going to move this over, and we'll go over the specs. I didn't memorize everything, so we're going to be going over. Colors, you can get this thing in either maple board or rosewood, depending on your preference. Every single color is offered with either or. This is just my preference. Why? I don't know. I just like the sound better, and I just like the looks better, to be honest with you. These things come in a blue color, black, red, sunburst, and Arctic white. Again, both maple and rosewood. So again, this is the HSS model. The only difference between this and the standard 3 single coils is that single coil or humbucker. Everything else is identical. It's made out of alder, like most Stratocasters are. It's usually alder, poplar, I think, depending on the country of origin and the model. Some special editions will come in like swamp ash and everything, but usually it's alder, poplar, stuff like that. So again, pretty standard. It's wood. It sounds great. Whatever. Maple neck. The neck carve is a modern C, like you'll get on most of the newish Stratocasters. It feels really comfortable for me. Your mileage may vary. Again, like I say in all my videos, your best option is to go to the store, try a bunch of guitars. Even if they're the same exact model, try a bunch. You'll be surprised at the difference between them sometimes. Again, I tried this and I tried the 3 single coils, and they felt exactly the same. So maybe Mexico's getting their shit together finally and actually producing quality finally. But who knows? 21 frets, semi-standard for Stratocasters, usually 21, 22. It's 25.5 inch scale length. 9.5 inch fretboard radius. It's not a compound radius, it's the same radius all the way down. It's what you're going to get for this kind of price range, and that's fine. It's comfortable for chords. It's comfortable for when you can even get down all the way. And yeah, you can, like I say, super easy. You can reach every single fret on this thing. Stratocaster. It's a classic for a reason. Medium jumbo frets. The nut is synthetic bone. That's one thing I noticed on this one is it's kind of cut very roughly, so I might end up changing that eventually and putting an actual bone nut in there. But for now, it's doing its job. It's just I can tell with a bit of wear this thing is not going to hold the strings. So something to look out for, but again, it works for now. I'll change it. The nut costs nothing and it's not that hard to change. Standard bolt on, so with the 4 screws in the plate. It doesn't have that deluxe heel cut, but again, super easy to reach everything. It's not the most comfortable. I do prefer that cutaway on the neck here. Usually they just move that bolt over a bit and they just cut that down so it's easier and it's more comfortable. Not on the cheaper ones, but hey, it's fine. The neck finish is a nice satin finish on the back, which I really appreciate. Like my Mustang is a very gloss finish and it gets sticky when you sweat. This is a nice satin, like I said. It feels great. I don't even think I washed this thing down after I played, and like I said, I played about 6 hours with it and it still feels fine. So again, greatly appreciated. I love the satin finish on the back. The front is gloss. That'll probably wear off with use and time. The pickups are just made in Mexico standard, so standard humbucker, standard single coils. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep these or if I'm going to switch them out. The single coils sound alright. I'm just not 100% on the humbucker. I'm going to have to fiddle around with it more and figure it out. Standard Fender 5-way switch, so all the way down is full bridge. The outer coil and the middle pickup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just look that up. Yeah, front coil of the bridge and then the middle pickup. Position 3 is just the middle pickup. Position 4 is the neck and middle pickup, and then the 5th position is going to be just that neck pickup. The bridge is a standard trem. It is, honestly, I'm kind of shocked at how cheaply made this thing looks. It works, and I've used the trem a bit just to fiddle around, and it is staying in tune, but the saddles are literally like a piece of, I don't know if you can see it, maybe this way will be better. Yeah, you can kind of see that. It's one straight flat piece of metal that they've kind of curved around to make the whole saddle instead of being like a solid block like you'd get on most guitars. I don't know if that's just their new way of making the saddles, or if it's just the cheap way to make them on the cheap end, cheap, relatively speaking, and Mexican ones. But yeah, tuning machines are just standard Fender tuning machines, sealed. They're not locking, they're just sealed. Again, this thing seems to stay in tune, so I might leave those. I might switch them out for locking tuners eventually. Again, I've had this thing for a couple of days now, so we'll see. It's still up in the air. And then just the standard white pick guard, which that I am leaving because, like I say, I like the white on white. So what do I think of this thing? It plays great. I've got no problems with the playability. I've got no problems with... I am plugged in. I didn't mic the amp though, so what you're going to be hearing is just my room mic picking up my amp, which again, my amp, if you haven't followed my other videos, is a Mesa Boogie Mini Rectifier 25. So just go through these settings quick here. This is the bridge. Full volume, full tone. I don't usually mess with those. Not bad, but we'll kick in the distortion after and you'll see what I mean. It's not bad for cleans. It's when you start getting into the distortion, shockingly, I think it might be a bit too hot and it's a bit too heavy on the high ends. So then if we second position, which again is going to be that outer coil mixed with the middle. Middle pickup, which is now we're getting more into what you'd expect out of a Strat for Strat tones. Next position, so now we're going into the neck and middle pickups together. And finally, just the neck pickup on its own. Now again, if you're going with just the 3 single coils, everything except the full bridge is going to sound exactly the same as this. The only difference is going to be that humbucker again. We're just going to put on a bit of distortion, and when I say a bit, this again, it's my Mesa Boogie mini rectifier. I'm using the not vintage, modern channel. I don't like the vintage, so I just use the modern. I'll show you all the positions, but I mean, see already, even though it's a humbucker, I don't know, hopefully it's picking it up, but it's hissing like a mofo in here. It's not bad sounding, it's just like I said, I don't know if you guys can hear it, it's hissing so bad. I don't have a noise gate because I usually never need it. All my other guitars that are full humbucker don't hiss this bad. So I don't know what it is. But yeah, we'll just go through these quickly. And now next position, which again is going to be these 2 single coils. This seems almost quieter than... I don't know if you guys are hearing this is the problem, but like the 2 single coils seems quieter than... And then when you get to just the middle, now it's noisy, but that's what you'd expect. They're not the noiseless single coils. And see, again, I find when you're picking 2 single coils at the same time, it's doing less noise than just the humbucker, which really makes sense, but you'd think the humbucker would be as... Anyway. And finally, just full on the neck. Neck is great for if you're soloing, but like, let's just do a couple of quick notes here. That's full on the bridge. I don't know, it still sounds alright, it's just, I don't know. I'm not convinced about the humbucker. That's the only part that I might actually change if I can find like a white Duncan JB for cheap enough. Everything else I'm quite happy with. The volume works fine. Tones I never play with, so... But there you go. That is, very quickly, my super quick review of the 2016 Fender Standard made in Mexico Stratocaster. It's a great guitar for anyone that's starting, if you're lucky enough and have the budget or have parents or family, friends, whatever, that are kind of loaded and want to buy you a great gift, this is a terrific gift. This was my gift to myself for Christmas. It's just a classic guitar, and there's a reason that they really haven't changed this thing look-wise and feature-wise since basically the 50s by now, really, if not even before that. It just works. It's a great guitar, and like I said, every time I sell this thing, I end up buying another one. Again, retail Canadian. I paid $760. I got this at Steve's Music. If you're lucky enough, and they still have, and they like you, you might get the same kind of deal. If not, Steve, the sticker price on this at Steve's was $780, $790, somewhere around there. If you look at most other stores and on online, they retail for $799 still. I don't know if they changed anything on the Mexican standards for 2017, to be honest with you guys. Probably not. I think they were mostly concentrating on doing the American professionals. Great guitar for the price. Like I said, the only thing I'm not super convinced by is that humbucker. I have to play around with it way more and then I'll decide. But I mean, for the price of the guitar, just changing one humbucker would not be breaking the bank or too bad. Nothing wrong with it, mind you, if you guys are looking for a new guitar or are interested in a Stratocaster, whether it be your first guitar or you're an intermediate or even a professional player, I think this thing would serve you well. Like I said, it seems to stay in tune perfectly for me. It's only been 2-3 days, but I mean, like I said, I've played like a good 6 hours on it by now, and it's stayed in tune. So there you go. That's just my quick opinion on this thing. I love it. It's not going anywhere, at least not for a while. And if I do sell it, I'll end up regretting it, and I'll end up buying another one anyway.